Today's video, we're going to talk about manual bidding strategies, how to do it to extract the maximum profit you possibly can out of your investment on Google Ads. This is a video that's an anti-smart bidding video. There's a lot of talk out there on YouTube recently that how Google Ads and Google and Alphabet, which runs Google, has been price fixing, that's a term linked to illegal illicit activity. And for me, price fixing doesn't make any sense because everybody wants to sell their stuff for as much as they possibly can. Google's got a great product that is people who want to buy something generally just go to Google first. Yes, they can go to social media and whatnot, but usually if they're in a hurry, they just go to Google because they know Google separates out mostly the right vendors there for them and they can make a decision in a hurry. And Google is just simply auctioning off these people that have money in hand and just want to go with a decent enough company, which obviously somebody who can afford to spend on ads is probably a decent enough company, or selling that customer to the top bidder, if you will. Why would they not do that? You would do it if you were Google. I don't see how when you use smart bidding, which is where the argument is coming in, that if you use smart bidding and you tell Google you're willing to pay more for a customer, they charge you more for a customer, and you only get a few more customers as a result, and you get diminishing returns. Naturally, the system is set up, whoever's spending the most gets the most customers. Google, yes, knows which people is most likely to turn into a customer or not from the people searching, because they study all the people who search for your keywords in your market and have done so over the last 10 years. At the end of the day, it's never changed. They've charged whoever pays the most for the customer gets the most customers. Before it was who spend the most for a click is going to get the most customers because you're going to get the best placement. Now Google kind of knows of the people searching in your space who's likely to buy, who's not, and they sell through smart bidding. They charge you more if you want a higher percentage of the customers and vice versa. Manual bidding will put you in more control of what you pay per click again. But at the end of the day, you pay less per click, you're going to get less customers. So there's no difference here. Smart bidding, long term, still makes the most money, but if you don't like Google jacking up your bids, then your manual bidding is going to help you be in more control of your cost per click. If that's what you want, and you don't like Google charging you $100 a click, and you want them to charge you 10. Still not going to make as much money, and I'll explain why, but I can bring you this information I'm going to share with you here in confidence. As my name is Corey Zyman. I run an advertising agency as my primary sole job, and I spend 40 hours a week doing ad testing and strategy for a few dozen clients and a few dozen more ad accounts on an ongoing basis to know exactly what works and what doesn't work, of which we spend a majority of our time on just Google Ads. I understand the differences between manual and smart bidding because I've worked on hundreds of accounts, and this is my sole job here. So I can tell you definitively what works and what doesn't work, and I've been doing this for 10 plus years now. If you're still thinking you want to use manual bidding, I will tell you how to get the most from it, why you may want to stick with that versus smart bidding, or just switch over to your mindset and that smart bidding is better and just abandon the whole idea. Anyway, that's who I am. That said, getting into with the content I'm going to share, I'll give you the pros and cons of the manual bidding strategy, what the manual bidding strategy it is that I use when I can only use it, because I got a client that's a tyrant and says we have to use manual bidding no matter what or else, and how I do it there. And then, of course, what kind of results we see with the strategy of using manual bidding to get your cost per click back in check again. Using the strategy I mentioned here, how much of a difference this will make on your results. That is the amount of total profit you could make using the strategy versus not using the strategy and just take a dumb bidding approach, which is I'm not willing to pay more than $2 a click and I don't care what. And because you're not going to make as much money doing that, or at least if you don't actually add some more depth to your strategy. You can say you can pay $2 a click and no more, and that's fine, but that $2 a click still will make more money with the manual bidding strategy I'm going to talk about in today's video. So with that said, like I talked about, smart bidding will generally, it makes more money than manual bidding. Why? Very simple to kind of explain. Google's machine learning systems are smarter than any human could and would be. I know, and I'm the first to admit, I fought this. I thought through manual bidding I could do better because I can use my brain to optimize my bidding in the account. But the reality is the smart bidding was beating us more and more and more all the time, and it got to the point where we finally admitted about 3 or 4 years ago that we cannot beat Google smart bidding. At least after you've gotten a few dozen conversions in your account already and you're tracking your conversions right. The reason for that is because a keyword is not just a keyword anymore, or audience is not just an audience. Google's machine learning is able to look at the keyword red shoes. What are the 5,000 different unique people who search for red shoes when you bid on it? And of that, which ones are profitable for you or, going to be profitable for another advertiser? And they look at all the websites that you've ever visited, all the things that you've liked, all the things that you've said next to your phone with a Google app on it. And it goes into a big machine learning algorithm that identifies when somebody does come through an ad and purchases. It looks at all the thousands of unique traits that person has, puts it into a database somewhere. Then when another customer comes through, it does the same thing there. And then it correlates all the traits that make up these customers and finds the most common traits that match up, so that when somebody comes through, it looks at those traits in real time, identifies what the statistical likelihood of somebody that person coming through is likely to buy. With that, it determines then how much you should be charged per click. They've done this obviously to make more money for the same clicks that they can, but it's at the end of the day still worth it, because they can predict what that customer is likely to convert at, therefore what they're worth, and they're charging what the customer's actually worth. So you could try to get a cheap click, but you're now going to be paying a cheap click for everybody versus paying a lot of money for the 10% who's most likely to be a customer, okay? Which is why the manual bidding isn't going to make you more money, okay? And you can do so-called bid adjustments on all the different levels of your account, on the device level, audience level, time of the day level, and so forth, but that's still so crude of an optimization method or technique than letting the machine learning that can look at thousands of individual user behavior traits and use that to optimize what you should be paying for a click to get you the most conversions at your target cost per conversion. Because at the end of the day, cost per click is just a vanity metric. It is, and especially now. I don't give a if you charge me $5,000 a click, if I know every click is going to convert and I'm going to get a whale client right off of it every time. People get too emotionally involved. They hate Google. They hate that they have to rely on Google for their customers. They don't want Google to be in charge. They're, business owners by default, character flaw that they all have, most of them have, I should say, is they have huge freaking egos. And they hate being told what to do. That's why they're business owners. They don't like Google being under Google's thumb, okay? And so when they see them charging more per click, all of a sudden out of the blue, they get bent out of shape out of it. I got to constantly reinforce to our clients, that doesn't matter at all. It truly doesn't. It's, are we getting a conversion? What's the cost per conversion? Cost per click is irrelevant. Going further than that, by the way, it's what is the ROI of the campaign, and of the conversions we're getting, if we're developing leads, that is, how many are closing? What's the closing rate? What's the average value of a client? What's the average value of a client divided by ad spend? Therefore, what's our ROI? And is the ROI matching what we know we need to have after company expenses are taken out and still be profitable at the end of the day? That's all that really matters. The more you focus on the one side of things versus the other, the more money you're going to make, baby. And that's just how it is, and that's how it all rolls. And getting emotionally involved is just going to simply put a hamper on how much money you can make out of these Google ads at the end of the day. Yes, smart bidding, and part of the system is to charge you out per click when they know somebody coming through is likely to buy. But it's there, it's set up where they charge you less for a click if the person's less likely to convert, and more if they're more likely to convert. And when the cost per click goes up, guess what that means? It means they have narrowed down your ads to only show for people that are more likely to convert and less for less likely to convert. Therefore, the cost per click is going up, and it has to. You understand why it goes up now? So with all that said, okay, if you want to still use manual bidding because you're dead set on paying less per click, you don't want Google to just arbitrarily raise your cost per click. If you do that, that's not the smartest way to go, but if you are going to do it, then at least you could do for yourself very rigorous bid adjustments on your manual bidding strategy you have, which is something we used to do before we switched over to smart bidding, and still do bid adjustments, which bid adjustments on a smart bidding account, on a smart bidding running campaign, a campaign running smart bidding, are used kind of like a signal. They don't have no effect, and I've argued about this with people before. If you add a negative 100% bid adjustment on mail on a smart bidding, it will do less on the mail traffic, if you will. like negative 90% bid adjustment on mail versus shutting it off. It will take that into effect into deciding in the smart bidding algorithm whether your ads show up for mail anymore and at what price. It's not the end all be all. It's still going to end up doing whatever it wants to do, but it'll take it as a signal, just similar to how PMAX works. PMAX has signal. You give it information, it uses it in deciding what it's going to do, but at the end of the day, it does its own thing. That's what bid adjustments do on a smart bidding account. But with a manual bidding account, or manual bidding campaign, the bid adjustments are not a suggestion, but that's a lever, if you will. With the concepts that make smart bidding more profitable than manual bidding, that is, you're looking at an individual user individually on the traits that they have, and then the traits that they have with the information you have about that person, you know that if they're more likely to convert or less, and you use that to determine what you're willing to pay for that user in terms of a click. You can actually do that and end up with a lot more money, even though you're willing to pay only $2 per click, because, or at least as a whole, given that you're going to be willing to still pay $5 a click for one person and 50 cents a click for another. Your average cost per click is going to be $2, and you're going to end up making much, much more money doing that than just saying $2 is all I want to pay per click, and that's it. Because you're never going to take advantage of that person who's a home run prospect that has the right income, that's the right age demographic that matches your typical customer base. And if you don't do that, you're just going to end up with 20% of the profit you can make, because there's a huge discrepancy in assumed profitability of one user versus another based upon the traits that they have. So with that said, you should be using something called bid adjustments. And bid adjustments, which is what you're going to need to say if you're going to be willing to more per click or less per click on your keywords based upon the trait in question. That is of course you do it at the keyword level, but what device that they're on, time of the day it is that they're searching, day of the week that they're searching, their gender, their age, their income, on and on. And this goes for display campaigns, YouTube campaigns, all of it. And you can Google bid adjustment formula, how to use that. But basically all you're doing is you're looking, after you run your campaign for a while, you've got like 30 conversions. Instead of switching to smart bidding, you're going to keep manual bidding open. Based upon this is what your your average cost per lead in your campaign might be $30. Your cost per conversion, cost per lead for mails is $60. You're going to add a negative 50% bid adjustment on the mails, and therefore it'll bring down your cost per conversion to $30 for mails. What it will do ultimately then is charge you less money for the clicks from mails, and which is fine because the mail traffic's worth less statistically. Problem with this though is if you know anything about statistics, you need a certain amount of volume of data to make accurate decisions with statistics. You can make flawed assumptions on small amounts of data. So in order to really understand what you should be paying for a male visitor versus a female, you need tens of thousands of clicks. And the less data you have, the less accurate you're going to be. So with these bid adjustments, you typically need to come back every 90 days and reassess where your bid adjustment should be for male versus female and so forth. If you're really going to take the full advantage of what manual bidding can provide, if you're going to do things right manually, the way that smart bidding does it to get you more profit out of your account. But you do this and you use your bid adjustment on every metric you possibly can. Keyword level, device level, time of the day of the week, gender, age, income, audience level. When I say audience, I'm not just talking about whether they've been to our site before or a customer before, but whether they like fast food, whether they have an interest in new bedding. And that all can be done through the audience tab on your account. Then you also got psychographic, affinity, interests, all of this stuff, which is all done through the audience. You literally can set up in the audience menu, and I used to do this all the time, 500 different unique traits, whether they like fast food, whether they like football, whether they like to travel, whether they are in market for new clothes, and then you just sit back and wait. You observe the conversion rate and cost per lead, cost per conversion on each one of those 500 traits. Once you see what it converts at, you add your bid adjustment on each one of those levels. So based upon those 500 traits, down in bid based upon its historical impact on your return on investment for your keyword. So if they search for red shoes and they like traveling, they convert at a little bit better than, assuming they didn't have that interest of liking traveling. So you're going to be willing to pay 10% more per click if they like traveling in that case. So that when they search for red shoes and they like traveling from now on, instead of paying $2 a click, you're now paying $2.30 per click, and you're willing to do it because it'll make sure your ad shows up a little bit more higher in the list, or just make sure it shows up at all and you're not outbid so that it shows up at the bottom of the page versus the top of the page where all the clicks are. That's fundamentally how to take advantage of what manual bidding really truly provides you. And so with that, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of using manual bidding to get your cost per click down so Google doesn't ramp up your cost per click just super aggressively, it's still going to raise your cost per click at the end of the day. You want even with manual bidding, you want your cost per click to go up because ultimately it won't go up as much, but still doing things the way that I said, eventually your cost per click is going to come up a little bit more over time because you're going to understand where the customers are worth a lot more, and you're going to do huge bid increases in those places, and therefore it should just naturally drift up a little bit over time. Not near as much with smart bidding, what it does there, because it knows really well who's likely to be a customer with all the data they have, and that's the way that it is. So whereas, like your cost per click can start out at $2, you might eventually end up paying $2.53 with manual bidding. Google with smart bidding, you can start out paying $2 and ends up being $6 because they really take things to the nth level with this whole process of understanding the user on the user level, studying the user, the person who buys and who doesn't buy, and then charging as much as they can for a person that's more likely to buy, understanding that person's, they're charging you 3 times as much, but they're 3 times as likely to convert. So they can get the full value out of the prospects they have. The people who aren't likely to convert, they basically can just show no ads to them at all because they know they're not likely to convert, and make it more likely to click on an ad in the future for that person, because when you're shown too many ads, you're less likely to click on ads because you're overwhelmed. Whereas if you know that an ad is there, and when you do click on an ad, you likely get what you want and are happy with what you are given, click on ads as a whole. So their goal with the smart bidding is to only show an ad if it is likely to serve your needs. And in that case, because they know based upon your back history if you're likely to know to like what that ad had to offer, they charge a load of money per click so that users get what they want, which is less ad, and ads that are relevant where it would help them. And on the advertiser side, only having ads show up to people that are likely to become a customer. See how this makes sense? So this totally shifts your mindset as to what Google's doing here. It's not nefarious. It really makes sense at the end of the day. And it actually helps both parties, the user and you, get more so what you want over time. It, of course, makes Google more money, but that's only because they're making their platform more useful to the advertisers and the users who come to Google for information. But anyway, with that said, a manual bidding strategy that works the best is the one that I just gave you here. The difference in the amount of money you make from just doing like $2 a click, I don't care about bid adjustments, versus using the bid adjustments, okay? You're talking about 2 to 5 times more profitability doing the bid adjustments the way that I said and taking it to the full level, doing that versus just a dumb $2 a click on all keywords and that's it, or all the audiences and that's it. In some cases, we're doing 10 to 20 times as much profits that way. Going in, having it, we go into an account that sells paint or children's toys. They aren't doing any bid adjustments. They only wanted manual bidding. We go ahead and analyze all the data for the last 5 to 10 years, add a bid adjustment on these different levels that I talked about, and then boom, right away get a ton more ROI from the current budget, and then boom, right away scale where we couldn't scale without our cost per conversion and ROI going down the drain. And it all simply becomes, and as a result of understanding which users are truly our customers and which ones aren't, and taking advantage of that information. But that's obviously useful because we have 5-10 years worth of data to take advantage. You're not going to have that at the beginning when you start advertising, but if you had the data, you are one of those people that have been advertising for 10 years, and you have all this data, and you don't do bid adjustments, but you're using manual bidding, you take advantage of this, and right away get the results that you're looking for. So that gives you an idea of what kind of returns we can get. That kind of thing happened in the house paint category specifically, like I talked about. Mailboxes, where we got 2 to 5 times as much profit going into an aged account with the conversion data, and it's went on and on and on. We've done this many, many times. But this is before we're using smart bidding. Nowadays, we just switch things over to smart bidding and get even better results. You're going to make at least 5 times as much with money with smart bidding than from an account that was using manual bidding with no bid adjustments. The difference between smart bidding and best manual bidding bid adjustment strategy that I talked about, you're still talking about 3 times as much money you could make on top of it. Manual bidding with really, really diligent bid adjustments, that will still only make 1/3 of what you can do with smart bidding, because it takes it all to another level, baby. With that said, if you want to know if this would apply to you for sure, Of course, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about it. If you have questions about Google raising your cost per click bids, how do you stop that? Is there any other options to you? Which for the most part there's not, but you can lay out different options for you to basically, though, at the end of the day, trying to raise your profitability from your account. There's no way that I won't be able to know what the next thing you could do, because there's always something else to do, at least as per this is all I do all day long. So you can reach out to me. The initial consultation is free. We also have a bunch of ad templates available. If we've worked in your niche market before, you can take the winning ad, landing page, all that we've developed for your niche market and literally sell it to you for a 4-figure fee. We sell these templates that can get proven results right out the gate with none of the learning and time that it took for us to figure out how to get those results over years in your niche market, but in a different geographic area. At the very least, you should reach out to us and find out if we worked in your niche market before and what results we got, because instead of spending all this time to figure out how to do it for yourself, you can just get the winning version of it from us right away. These templates are so effective, you could literally start a whole new business from scratch and get everything in 90 days just because you have the winning ads that work for that niche market, that are successful, that has where the millions are already spent to find the ads that work. And we got people that also, these templates are so effective, they start selling the leads in a market like personal injury law or dentistry. They can sell those leads and arbitrage the cost of what they get the lead for and what they're able to sell for on the open market, if you will, to business owners who need. Anyway, and if you do have just a one-off question, you of course can leave me a comment below in the comment section, and I'm more than happy to get back to the community for watching the channel, helping the channel grow. More than thankful for you guys who watch this content and loyal viewers, and want to give back as much as I can. But anyway, with that said, if you're going to do manual bidding, do it the responsible way. Go ahead, make sure you're doing your bid adjustments. Otherwise, you're just you're getting a small, tiny fraction of the results you could get if you added some nuance to what you're doing and pay more or less based upon a person's whether they're more or less likely to convert into being a customer. Want more information on how to, by the way, use manual bidding to help you make money, because there's more to it than this. Obviously, the bidding strategy is one thing. You need to know how to write good ad copy that will beat your competition, because it's really a competition between you and your competitors. Whoever has the best ads, Google's going to want to favor sending traffic to them and charge you less money per click, give you more clicks. If you're using smart bidding, that is, they'll give you a higher quality of click per a person that is most likely to convert into being a customer, because they want to give that all to the person who's doing the best job for their users. If you want to know how to get the best conversion rates, all of that, subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed already, because the information I'm providing you on this channel is better than 99% of the information you're going to find online about how to make money running ads for your business on Google. Not only on Google, but Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other places that you can run ads online. For the most part, I've covered them all. And it's coming from somebody who spends all their time just doing ad strategy and testing on dozens of ad accounts to give you the information, the working information about what works and what doesn't work online. You can also find my blog that I write and maintain over at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has actual step-by-step advice on certain strategies we use to guarantee results for our clients as well, which literally with screenshots, with the step-by-step instructions, you can copy and paste those into your account and get the same results we're getting. But anyway, with all that said, main thing that separates out people who make millions of dollars running ads for their business, whether you're manual bidding or smart bidding, and the people who don't and think Google's a scam, is they figured out what their users want and they did it better than their competition. I talked about how all the information you need to do this is on this channel for free, by the way. But with that said, you got to know what you're doing and you got to put the damn work in that's involved to do it. Very rarely is it going to be one ad that works for everybody, one landing page that works for everybody, or page on your site that you send them to that works for everybody, because there's nuance. When you are looking for a black pair of socks with brown streaks, you don't want to see an ad for socks and shoes for sale and then dig through the site to find what you want. People want to be taken exactly where they want to be taken, and they don't want to be told, we have generic stuff, you can dig through everything to find what you're looking for. The harder you make it for them to realize you have the best offer for them in your market, the less sales and less ROI you get. And Google's really optimizing to give all the benefit and as many customers as available in your market to the person who does the best job there. in terms of ad click-through rate and conversion rate. You got to put the work in to do that. If you do it, Google's going to want to send a just shovel on as many freaking customers on your business as possible, because you're making it so that people want to click on ads in the future and come back to Google in the future. So naturally, they want to give it all to that person. And the person who's doing, they want to literally just stomp on and get the hell out of the way, because you're not making it. There's already 5-10 people advertising in your space already. What need do they have of somebody who's going to do a half-assed job, spending 15 minutes setting up their ads to help the user get frustrated? It doesn't make any sense. You know it, and everybody else knows it. And the sooner you realize that it's going to take knowing what to do, but putting the work in to set up a great experience for your users, at least it's better than your competition is currently that's advertising, the sooner you're going to get to making the millions. Really, it's that simple. So with that said, and it's been going that direction for a while, and it's super like that now. So either get with the program or you're wasting your time, basically. And there's no doing it good enough, we make money. No, this isn't. Google doesn't want everybody to make money. They want the top 20% to make it all. So you either are going to be there, or you're going to struggle, and you're going to work little to no return. So with that said, hopefully that made a lot of sense. You enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said bid adjustments was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.